And we are live. Good afternoon, good evening, good whatever, wherever you might be. I'm Dan and my host, Nicole, my co-host, Nicole. Welcome
Happy
to the Power
Monday.
Hour, everybody. We're so glad you're here. Yay! My daughter was just reminding me that today is Mental Health Day, which
Mental
I
Health
probably should have
Monday.
taken the
Yes.
day off, right?
Yeah, I didn't either.
And
Hi, Kimberlyn.
very interesting that it would be Mental Health Day because I wanted to talk about that today. I had a young lady um, who had been kind of down for about a week or so, and I mentioned to her, I said, "You seem to have been down lately," and she goes, "Yeah," and a few minutes later she said, "Well, I just need to tell you that I suffer from depression." I said, "Oh, well, I have a lot of experience with it. I've caused depression in many people." but, but the interesting thing about the conversation was she knows the kind of the way I work and what I think and all that kind of stuff, right? And she was talking about the fact that she belonged to a couple of groups that talk about the importance of training your mind. And I said, well, that is perfect. It's exactly what one needs to do. And, then I shared with her about the fact that I, many, many years ago now, was diagnosed manic depressive, never experienced the downside except for the crash, which every manic episode, what goes up must come down, right? But as far as clinical depression, I've never had that. And like I said, I've probably caused it to a lot of people. But the truth of it is that clinical depression is a really difficult thing. And I would imagine that almost everybody on our call tonight has probably been on some kind of antidepressant at some point in their life, if they're not on it now. I never did. And when I was diagnosed with manic depression, they put me on lithium for a while, and I didn't like the way it made me feel, and I just decided, you know what, I'm just going to fix my life and do it and just do it because I got to do that anyway, right? And so everything I did without medication. And I think I've shared the story on here about the fact that years ago, hey, Melly, glad you're here. Kimberly,
Kimberly.
glad you're
Yeah.
here. Yay, yay. And that I shared years ago I had when I met your mom, Nicole, I had to get, no, not your mom, when I met Kate, I had to get a new license, and my license had been suspended because of seizures and manic episodes. And so I had to get clearance from the doctor and the psychiatrist before I could get a license. And I made an appointment to see a doctor here in Murrieta who told me he couldn't sign off on me if I wasn't taking medications. And I said, well, I'm not going to take medications. He goes, well, then I can't sign you off. And I said, okay. So for me, medications wasn't the way to go. But as I tell a lot of people that suffer from depression, when your mind is broken, you can't fix your mind with a broken mind, right? So the very first thing you have to do is get your brain chemicals back in balance. Because until that happens, it's really, really difficult to fix your mind anyway. But if your mind is broken to where your brain chemicals are off, it's almost impossible. So what we do here on the Power Hour and what I do when I work with people is we don't want to set you up for failure. We want to set you up for success, right, Nicole?
That's right.
Absolutely. And so, please be kind to yourself. If you suffer from depression and you're on antidepressants, don't stop taking them until you've reached that point where you've got that strength within yourself and you've done the homework, the inside work with training your mind to be your friend instead of your enemy, to focus on being positive and not allowing those negative thoughts to run your life, right? That's the homework you have to do, whether you're on medications or you're not on medications. And if you don't, we talk about this all the time, that trying to create the kind of life you want to have with a mind that's constantly feeding you defeatist thoughts and attitudes is almost impossible. In fact, I think it is impossible to get where you want to go if your mind is constantly sabotaging you, right? The
Yes.
people that succeed in life, whatever level of success, whatever way you define success, are people who have learned to shut that mind down and just keep plowing forward in the direction they want to go in, whether it's in a successful marriage or a successful job or raising great children or whatever that path is for you. If you really want to have a quality life, it's got to start with quality thinking, right? And so here we've got one. I suffer from bipolar depression, and the meds worked until I have to. I've got my camera right in the way of the comment there, but worked until it didn't. Now I try to work on my mind and feelings so that I don't have manic episodes. Well, you're following your grandfather. You're in serious trouble. I happen to agree, but yes. And that's the thing about meds is that, and it's kind of the way our whole society has gone is that, you see commercials all the time with guys in doctor coats saying, hey, just take this pill and all your problems will be gone, right? It doesn't work like that. Nothing does. Take a pill and everything will be just fine, right? Just create a.
I do work with women a lot
Yeah.
that, and I'm no doctor and I will not,
Right.
tell you anything about your medications. But
Yep,
what I
me
can
too.
say is that, whether you're taking medications or not, if you are taking medications, don't rely solely on the medications. You have
Right.
to do every little thing around it. And that adds to the medication, right?
That's
And
right.
that adds to that quality of life that we're looking for.
Yes. Absolutely. And Melinda, I remember when you went through your tough times and you've come so far from where you were back in those days, right? I'm so proud of you.
Yes.
You've become such an awesome young lady, and an awesome mother and a great wife and a great daughter, and you're just
Granddaughter.
knocking
Yeah.
it out of the park, and I'm so proud of you and so happy for you, right?
Yeah.
And Melinda, as you know, we talk about this all the time on our show here, right? Is that nobody's going to make your life great for you, but you, right? You're never going to find the perfect husband. You're never going to find the perfect house. You're never going to find the perfect kids. None of that happens.
I think I've
None of
got it
those.
pretty nailed down there.
Well, yes, she
Yeah.
does. I agree.
I got
But
the
you know what I'm
perfect
saying,
kids,
right?
the perfect husband.
Yes, the happiness, but you can be with all of those perfect people and be depressed,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So if the idea that we got the right husband and the right kids and the right house and everything was going to make us happy, we wouldn't have anyone on antidepressants, right?
Right. Yep.
Yes. So if you find it really hard, whether you're watching us live tonight or whether you watch the recordings and maybe a year from now somebody watches this, hopefully it'll help you to recognize that if you're on medication, stay on them until you and the doctor agree you don't need them anymore. All right. The goal ought to be to get off those medications, but it'll be easier to do that if you've allowed yourself to train your mind, because you're going to have to do it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
If you really want to have a life of happiness, it's an inside job. Right, Nicole?
Yes.
You never had to do that though, right? Because your thinking was always spot on, right?
Wrong. No, but it did take practice, right?
Yes.
And when I did go through a period of they called it not seasonal depression, situational depression.
Right.
And I did go on some medications. And when I met with that psychiatrist, he says, look, medications will help to a degree, but
Right.
if you get out in the sun for 15 minutes a day, if you go for a walk, those are things that will add to. also if you, you know, inspirational books, all the things that we hear, right? Um, I don't know who that was, but they know me.
Yeah, who put on The Perfect Husband? It must be you.
Irene. Oh,
Yay.
I love you. But you know, I was given all of those tools, and I was also told that, you know, my mind will play tricks on me. Where, you know, we've talked about that. Our mind is, you know, it has an old record player, right? And
Yes,
it'll tell me I don't need the medications. I feel good today. I don't need to take these anymore.
right.
And then it's that whole cycle of, you know, oh dear, oh my, I'm in a bad space again. Oh,
Yeah.
maybe those medications were helping, you know. So that was explained to me early on, and that's very helpful. Oh, it's Lisa. Yay.
Oh, how about
Hi,
that?
Lisa. Awesome. So, you know, so whenever I talk with people that are taking medications, I say, you know, your medications aren't up for negotiation. That's between you and your doctor. What I'm going to do is help you through the other parts, right? And hopefully get to a side that's lighter and clear away a lot of that yuck and muck inside of us that's been driving those feelings a lot of times and adding to.
Yes, absolutely true. Lisa, I put my phone number up there because I would appreciate it if you would text me or call me. I would love to have you join us on the show as a guest, okay? Because I know you have a lot of information to help share with people that could help them get where I know you've gotten to get, right? Lisa, poor Lisa was one of those that had to hear my saying over and over again about the beatings will continue until your attitude improves, right? And now she understands why I said it all the time, because it really is all about the attitude you decide to have, right? Right, Lisa?
I
I
just
bet you
used
do.
your saying, put the bat down.
Yeah, well, yeah, and well, the other one is get
And I
get
said
off
that
the
one
cross.
too. Don't
Get
say,
off the cross. We need the wood.
yeah, I said that one too. I'm like, oh my gosh. So you got to see this.
Yeah. Well, oh, I can't read it. Let me
It
move
says,
my.
OMG, my
My
mother
mother was
was
right
right
about
about
everything.
every.
I like that. That's perfect.
I
Yeah.
got that from Kimberlyn, my daughter.
It is amazing how, as you go through the journey of life, you get to look at your parents in totally different ways through different periods of your life, right? And you know, it's interesting. We all get to have that experience, you know, and you'll say something and you go, oh my God, my mother used to say that, or I swear I'd never say that to my children, right?
My dad says this. This is
Oh yeah.
always what. Oh, that's from my father. Sorry.
Awesome. Lisa says she loves us both, and we love you. Of course, you know that. I know you do know that, right? And absolutely every day. Oh, that was Kimberlyn. And this is from Lisa, who's saying, yes, I would love to participate. We will make that happen and get you on our show together. That would be so much fun. I'm looking forward to it. And also, Lisa, I'm going to ask you to join me on a private interview that I can use for my website as well. Got a lot of things happening, and I'm really excited about. Yes, yes,
Yes.
indeed. So yeah, you know, it's one of the, and that brings me to the next thing I wanted to talk about with mental health, and that is that this week at my JOB, you all know what JOB stands for, right? Just over broke.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what jobs are. No matter, my dad told me 100 years ago that no matter what job you have, no matter how well your pay, that you will always live up to that level of living, but you never get past that, right? And the only way you can get past that is to be an entrepreneur, which I firmly believe in. And by the way, Lisa, yes, you do have the perfect husband. I've seen many of your posts on Facebook, and you guys make such an awesome couple. I couldn't be more happy for you than what you've gotten done with your life. You're an absolute miracle. All right. So I was at work, and a gentleman comes in, was before the store opens, and this guy works for Best Buy Geek Squad. He goes in and puts up TVs and things in the store, but he used to be a salesperson in the Temecula store that's now closed. So he walks in and he sees me and he goes, "Oh my God." And I think he forgot my name, which is fine. I forgot his too. But but he said, "Oh my God, we were all so sad to learn that they were shutting down your division. And because every time you came into our store, you made us laugh and you made us feel good. And we were so sad to hear that you were gone." And I said, "Oh my God, that is such a kind thing for you to say, right?" And it reminds me that every day we have a choice to be either a wonderful role model or a horrible example. I know people that are in management who I can't stand to even be around them because of how they treat their employees, right? And I know managers who use that old tired power way of managing where you do what I tell you or get the hell out. Fear management is what I would call it. And and I would feel horrible if I made one person feel that bad because they were trying to do a job for me, right? My whole idea is that you motivate people to do a great job by encouraging them and helping them to grow and teach them the things they don't know. Managers ought to be teachers because that's the position you're in. You're supposed to be in a position of knowledge, right? And so this guy showed me that I made a difference every single day in my job for 12 years. I went around for all the different stores from San Diego up to Riverside, even down to the desert sometimes, Palm Desert and Palm Springs. And I felt inside myself that I made a difference every day because I would always acknowledge the people and give them encouragement and train them and help them and help the customers, right? Really true customer service, something that is sadly becoming history in our country. But anyway, to have this guy give an unsolicited, "Oh my God, there's Dan," kind of a comment reminded me that we can all make that kind of difference every day. And I can tell you from personal experience that it just fills my soul, and I know it does everybody who does this. And I know there's a number of you, probably all of you on this call, do the same thing in your work and in your life. It's about lifting up others, right? And if that's woke, then I'm a woke son of a bitch. All right? Yeah. We're all here on this journey to learn and to become closer to the image of God. We're never going to be the image of God, right? You did not. Oh, that was from Kimberlyn, I guess, right? Oh, there we go. There we go, Kimberlyn. You did not. Yeah, I did. So what kind of a legacy do you want to leave?
That's
right?
Yeah.
You know, I think I know I've told Nicole and I know I've told Kate and I've told some other people that when I do get to take my dirt nap, my goal would be for all of you just to get together and tell all the crazy ass stories that you have about old Dan, right? And how he made me laugh and how maybe he taught me something that helped, right? And as I said to the young lady sitting next to me at a memorial service one day, I hope nobody throws rocks at my picture.
I was just going to say, we're going to have a dartboard for the ones you didn't help. That would be
and that'll be fine because I won't be there anyway.
Bullseye.
All right. So Mental Health Day.
Excuse me.
Oh, no problem. You okay?
I'm okay.
It's interesting, isn't it, that every single one of us have minds. Well,
What?
maybe not this guy, but everybody else has a mind. And we're okay if somebody gets sick, has an appendicitis, or God only knows what, needs to have an operation, or whatever the case might be. We don't shun that person because their body quit functioning right, right?
That's right.
But we'll do that to people that have their minds go off track and need surgery or need help or medication or something like that. And I remember when I was going through my toughest times with the mental health issues, my dad would say, I really felt that our whole family needed to be in therapy years ago, but we never did it. Right. And I thought, well, why didn't you? Right.
Yeah.
But when you're raising 9 kids and you're trying to make a business go and all that kind of stuff, money tends to be tight. And it was back in the day where you didn't talk about your problems, right?
There was still a stigma, right? That
Yeah,
was
exactly
not talked
right.
about. Yeah.
Yeah. And nowadays it's more understandable that you talk to somebody,
Yeah.
right? And there's so many support groups and programs that you can go on Facebook on a power hour and kind of get reminded, what direction you want your mind to work in for you, right? Do you want it
Back
to be
to
your best
center.
friend?
Back to center.
Yes, back to center, back to your mind being your best friend. It's like if we had a friend and the friend was hurling insults at us, we'd walk away or say, hey, I don't want to hear this. And then maybe later you could get back together and say, hey, maybe you were having a bad day or whatever, right? But you certainly wouldn't sit in that stuff, right? Why do we do that? Why do we allow our minds to do that to us? My thought is that not many people were told they even could train their mind. I certainly wasn't told that as a child. I don't think you were you, Nicole? You weren't
Nope.
told that, were you? Any of you callers, anybody on the broadcast today, did anyone when you were a young child tell you that you could train your mind? Some parents, the ones that were more evolved than others, would tell their children they could do whatever they wanted to and they could be whatever they wanted to be. But I don't think and most of us would probably hear that and go, yeah, right.
But in the
Kimberly said,
same
nope.
sentence, they would say, why did you do that?
Yeah, exactly. You idiot. Kimberly said, nope, she didn't get it, right? No,
Nope.
I don't think many of us did.
We don't know till we know, and
well, that's
we
right.
can't unhear what we hear and what we've learned and how we grow. We can't unlearn that.
Well, and here's the other thing, and why I'm going to do these Monday calls until God takes me home, is that we don't know when someone's ready to hear something, right? And it doesn't even necessarily need to be something that we say. It could be something you hear.
Yes.
I can tell you how many times I've had somebody tell me, God, when you told me da-da-da-da-da, it changed everything for me. And I never said that. Right?
But we don't correct them either, because that's what
no, of course
that's
not.
Great.
If they got what they needed, that's all that matters, right?
Yeah. That's happened many times.
I saw a friend of ours today,
Aww.
who I had seen several times in the last few weeks.
Oh, I saw her today too.
Yeah. And I said, how are you doing? And she said, oh, I'm doing good. I said, well, that's good, because the last few weeks you've been kind of down and I was a little concerned about you. And she goes, yeah, I quit smoking. That's exactly right. I said, good for you. And then I left and we talked a few minutes, and then I left and I realized I forgot to get one other thing I wanted in the store. So I went back in and I saw her again, and I reminded her that the act of stopping smoking was an act of self-love.
Yes.
And she went, oh my gosh, thanks for that. Or she hadn't even thought of it that way, right?
Yeah.
And it is. You're doing something positive for yourself. It's like I got up this morning and it was misty, but it wasn't raining yet, right? And all I heard all day was this: we're going to have 3 days of just rain like crazy. So I decided to go out for a walk for an hour and a half before I started my day, right? Because that's something that makes me feel good,
Yes.
right? I say it all the time. I'm a feel good junkie, right? It's why I used to love all kinds of things that I don't do anymore because it was too destructive, right? But I used to love anything that made me feel good, right? And I still do. I just do them in more positive ways now, right?
Yes.
But I love being happy. I love being positive. I love being of service. I love helping anyone and any time I can. It makes me feel good, right? It fills my soul up. And we don't have any other new comments yet. Kimberlyn was the only one that said that she didn't get the message that you could train your own mind. Everybody else got that message? Wow. Come on, guys. Help us out here. We could use some comments.
It's all right. It's all right.
Yeah. So for our friend who quit smoking, that smoking is a hard thing, right? Because Cheryl didn't get it. Kimberlyn didn't get it. Yep. None of us get it. And isn't that amazing that you would think that would have been a really important message to get out to the people, right?
Right? Like, hello, Dad.
Yeah. And I find it interesting at work that, yeah, right. I find it interesting at work that, I'll start talking with the kids and I'll just mention something like, someone would say something and I'd say, oh, you got that monkey mind on it. They'd look at me like, how did you know? Right. Well, you can tell, right?
You spot it, you got it.
Yeah, if you spot it, you got it, right? Or I had it. I can tell people that got that chatter mind going a mile away, right? And most of them are tense like this, and they're like, oh, and they're trying to smile, right? So anyway, Cheryl, I'm glad you're on with us tonight.
Yes.
Our thoughts have been with you steady.
Yes.
Absolutely. So, here we go. Kimberlyn, Kimberlyn, you're awesome tonight. Well, you're always awesome, but even more so than usual, right? I was lucky enough to grow up around such a positive. Oh, God, how much money do I have to pay you for this? A positive man in my life, Papa, and has helped me become a stronger-minded individual. But it was tougher in my younger ages to actually talk about my thoughts and my mental experiences. That's exactly right. Kimberlyn, I talk a lot on our show here about the huddled masses living in quiet desperation, right? And it's such a powerful sentence to me because I've seen it often enough now that most people live in that quiet desperation.
Yeah.
And it's such a lonely, isolated way to live, right? Because you don't think anybody has a clue about how much you're suffering and how hard it feels, how tough it is to even get up in the morning and try to get through the day. It's just hard, right? And I don't think God wants us to have a hard life. I really don't. I don't want that for my children. You don't want that for your children, do you, Nicole?
No, not a day.
No. We all, and I know Cheryl is a warrior about, helping their children live a better life, right? As is her whole family. I've had the great grace of meeting Cheryl's entire family, and they're just incredible people. And I feel blessed to spend time with them, right? So we are all about getting out of that quiet desperation. I want to be noisy. In my store, people hear me laughing all day long because I do. I have fun. In fact, when children come to my register, I'll look at them. I'll say, "Are you having fun today?" And they'll look at me and I'll say, you have to have fun every day. It's a rule. You have to have fun every day. Right, Dad? And Dad will go, oh, yeah.
Barely making it through the store. Thanks, guy.
Thank you. I mean it, Cheryl. You're an awesome young lady. And we care so much about you. Yes.
Yes.
So, quiet desperation. Has everybody, I know that everybody on this call has had that experience at least once in their life. Maybe not Nicole. She's probably the only one in the group that never had a moment of quiet desperation.
I feel picked on. My hair looks like it too.
You look beautiful. You always look beautiful.
I feel picked on. No, it just.
Thank God you got your mother's looks. That's all I can say.
Oh, now.
Oh, but yes. So, Mental Health Week. By the way, I wanted to mention that I missed you all last week because I was in Arizona. Unfortunately, my son had something come up and wasn't able to get together with me, which is sad, and I miss him very much. But we did have a great time going to the ball games.
Good.
And as Mental Health Day would be perfect to explain again, we had a friend of my friend that was meeting us at the ballpark. And after dinner, after the game, he and my friend went out to dinner, and I was supposed to meet with Joe. We didn't make that happen, but so anyway, he came back after a while after dinner, and I said, "Oh, did you have a good time?" And he goes, "Oh my God, it was so difficult because he's so negative.
Oh.
Everything was my life sucks and this and that." And he said, "Oh my God," I was like, "I didn't drive 3,000 miles to listen to this, right?" And we all know people like that, don't we? That are just so consumed with negativity that they can't even see how blessed they are, right?
Right.
They can't even see how amazing God is and how awesome this life is if we'll just pull our head out of our posterior, right? And so listening to what my friend went through with his friend, he's known him since he was 6 years old. And the man has done amazing, he's had amazing accomplishments. But like most of us, he's also had some disappointments. Which one did he choose to hold on to? The positive memories or the disappointments, right?
Disappointments, yeah.
Both of them are choices, right?
Yeah.
We choose, and that's the thing, we talk about that a lot on our program here. And again, we're not going to open up brand new doors of awareness for people, right? Nothing I'm going to share on here hasn't been told before by me on this program or by countless others. But the whole idea is to help you remember that you have the power to choose what way you're going to spend your day. Are you going to be wrapped up in misery? Are you going to be wrapped up in that quiet desperation where you bury yourself deep inside yourself and hope that nobody sees you? We've all had that moment. We've all had that feeling, right? Or are you going to say, hey, I want people to see my smile. I want them to see how happy I am. I want to look at the smile Nicole has right now, right? She's got it, right? And that's the whole idea. Smiles are contagious, right? It's more contagious than the pandemic, right? The more, it's really, I always joke with people, I've gone through cancer and diabetes and that kind of stuff. And I say, no disease wants to live in this body, right? It's not the environment for disease, right? It's
right.
It's a healthy environment. So, it's our responsibility. We are children of God.
Yes.
Right? What kind of a pedigree is that? Right?
The finest.
Yes, and most of us don't own it. We think Jesus is a child of God, but not us. We think Buddha and all of these spiritual leaders are much bigger, better people than we are. And it's just not true. It's just that we find it easier to say we're less than. It's easier to not take responsibility. It's easier to be depressed. It's easier to get loaded. It's easier to get drunk. It's easier to eat a bowl of ice cream, right? All of these different things we do to numb ourselves out and to verify that we're less than. If I was really good, I'd accomplish this, but I'm not, so I can't. So that's the way it is,
Wah,
right?
wah, wah.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the way most people do it, right? That's the way I did it for years, right? When I was trying so hard to raise a family, and yet I had no self-confidence. I had no belief that I could do it, right? And bad habits of when things feel bad, drink, right? And all it does is make life worse. So the positive power hour, we don't need to do things to
No.
numb ourselves out.
No mo.
Huh?
No mo.
No more, right?
No mo.
We don't need to smoke. We don't need to drink. We don't need to overeat. We don't need to do the things that make us feel bad,
Right.
right? If you want to feel good, do good things. But I say it all the time that if you want to know how to build a healthy self-esteem, do esteemable things.
That's right.
It's not complicated, right? Do the things you would do if everybody was watching, especially when people aren't watching. That's when you mostly want to do those really good things, right?
Yes.
And here's a comment from Cheryl. Thank you, Cheryl. We appreciate the feedback.
Yes.
Sometimes people need to be reminded about the choices that we can make, especially the possible one. That's why we have awesome people like you and Nikki to remind us. How about that?
Thank
That
you
is
so
so
much. That's
kind.
sweet.
Now I owe you money. But we do. And that's the whole point of the positive power hour, right? Is because life can beat us up. It does. I've had an awesome opportunity the last few weeks to look at how I look at some things that I don't like, and look at how I can change my attitude and my view of the whole thing to be more positive and more constructive instead of destructive. And it was really awesome when I got to turn that corner. It was like, oh, that feels much better than just being resistant and putting my feet in the ground and kicking and screaming, right? It was okay, how can I give them what they want, even though I don't really want to do that, right? Rotten, spoiled little child that's
I
gotta
don't
have.
wanna.
Yeah, exactly, right? And that's okay. And see,
Yes.
that's the difference. To go from that point where the beatings will continue until your attitude improves, to be able to say, I don't like this attitude I'm using on this, and I'm going to adjust it. So much faster and so much easier and so much less beating, right? The beatings will continue until your attitude improves. So, and
Emma
Lisa,
liked that one.
huh?
Emma liked that one.
Yes. Yeah, we even have dogs commenting for us tonight. That's awesome.
Well, a friend of mine uses the term, God doesn't like it, I don't like it, I'm not going to do it anymore.
I'm not going to do it?
Yeah. God doesn't like it, I don't like it, I don't want to do it anymore.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So
If it's not pleasing to God, why do we want to do it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
God doesn't like it. I don't like it. I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah. I think we've talked about this on the show, but I don't remember for sure. But I did have that near-death experience, right? Where a guy took a razor blade to me and cut me all up. And as hideous as you might find my face to be now, just imagine how it was when it was full of scars, right? but but the awesome thing about that experience, I mean, there were a lot of lessons to glean from that experience. And it's just like the manic episode, right? I think I shared about the whiteboard, right, with the eagle flying and then the arrow pointing down, right? Yeah. And the doctor telling me, see, that's the way it is when you get into higher levels of consciousness, is that you're not used to flying that free and that high, right? Because we've been so restricted for so long. And in a manic episode, what happens is your consciousness skyrockets up. And you can do things that you don't know you can do with your mind, right? I used to be able to open car doors and things that were locked just from thought, right? And other things that I won't share on the broadcast tonight. But the point is that we're all capable of much more than we think we are, right? And if we can get our mind quiet, we can enter the higher regions of consciousness that you can't reach if your mind is running all the time. That's why meditation is so important. That's what happens in meditation, is your consciousness expands, right? But in with as crazy as our world is today, it takes a lot more meditation time than it did back in our ancestors' days, right? But we still have that ability. So in a manic episode, that again, your energy is off the charts. You can go days and weeks without sleeping. You tend to overact sexually. You tend to, just do all kinds of things and spend money freely because now you know that there is no limit, and you just, but you just don't know how to carry that all out, and you crash and burn, right? So where were we going with that? There was a point, I'm sure.
Higher level of consciousness.
Yeah, but about the fact that those bad experiences that we go through, just like my friend's friend who is still locked into the failures that happened in his life, rather than focusing on. I'll tell you a story. This is a great story. Years ago, I was a clinical hypnotherapist. And I had a customer come in one day and he was really depressed. And I said, so what's going on? Why are you so sad? He said, well, a couple of my business partners ripped me off for like $3 million. I said, oh, you made over $3 million? He goes, yeah, I've done that before. I said, oh, so why are you depressed? He goes, I just told you. They ripped me off for $3 million. I said, but you know how to make $3 million. Most people don't know how to do that. And he stopped and he thought for a minute and he went, oh my God, you're right. I said, yeah, just go out and do it again. That's all. Which one's going to be better? You sitting in here and complaining to me that somebody ripped you off, or using that energy to get out there and do it again? You're going to have to do it anyway, right? So why not just get up and do it? And that's what he did. Came back in to see me about 6 months later, and he says, I'm not at that level yet, but I'm well on my way. I said, yeah, see, you knew how to do it, right? But see, most people don't get that kind of advice, right? They go, oh, poor guy, he lost $3 million. Oh my God, right? Yeah, right. You know how to make 1 million, right, Nick? But not the 3 million yet, right?
Well, I know how to make 2 million in the restaurant business.
How do you do that?
No, I'm sorry. I know how to make 1 million in the restaurant business.
How do you do that?
Start with 2.
There you go. Yes, restaurant businesses are really one of those passion businesses, right? For the most part, restaurant owners just love to cook and just love to serve and just love the whole experience of cooking and serving and hosting and all of that
it's
stuff.
That passion,
Huh?
It's that passion.
Yeah, it's that passion, right?
Yeah.
It's a passion business. It absolutely is. Now, there are chains of restaurants that do okay, I'm sure, but I'm talking about the mom and pop kind of shop, right? The one guy that just puts his heart and soul into it. And yeah, he probably started with 2 million and ended up with a million, but he did what he loved doing, right?
Yes.
Or she. We don't want to be sexist on this show. God's sakes. I'm a firm believer that women should be running the country because us men have screwed it up so damn bad that we need the smarter, softer energy of women to make things work the way it ought to work. That's my feelings about that whole thing. Anyway,
It's coming. It's
it's coming.
coming. Yep.
Absolutely, I believe it. I hope it comes before I leave this place. I'd love to
Oh,
experience the first woman
I
president.
think so.
I do too. I'm going to look to be about 120, I think.
As long as I don't have to care for you.
No, you don't have to do
I'm
that.
just kidding.
I won't let that happen.
You know I would.
Yes, I know you would. And the truth of it is, I want to live just as long as I can be of service.
Yes.
And when I can't do anything to help anybody, I wish God would just take me home. That's my feelings about it. But yes, we want to see a female president and I think it would be great to see a female president and a male vice president
Oh.
operating in the opposite way than what we're used to, right?
Well, our current vice president's the first female, right? So it's always been
Our
male.
current vice president, yes, that's right.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, this is
Yes.
the first time it's a female. So
Yes. I think that's awesome. I
I
really
can
do.
remember her name, but Harris.
Yeah.
Kamala.
Kamala Harris.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. So we're not going to make it to 7 o'clock tonight. I can tell. But we're getting pretty darn close to it, aren't we?
Yeah, we
I
did pretty good.
Huh?
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it is, especially that you brought the topic up because I didn't. Well, I did have some ideas of what I wanted to talk about tonight, right? But this being Mental Health Week is really a great topic to talk about, right? And for Kimberlyn to share about the fact that she was it Kimberlyn that mentioned that no, that was Melinda, right? That mentioned
Yes.
that she was bipolar and the medications quit working for her. So she
Yeah.
just finally had to say, okay, well, I got to fix this myself or it ain't going to get fixed, right? And that's the reality for all of us, really, is that there's nobody and really no medication. Yeah, here we go. There's the Melinda comment that's going to do everything for you. The medications should only be a stopgap measure to get your brain chemicals working right so you can do the homework, right? But it's all an inside job. All of this is an inside job. It's how you feel about you. The world you're experiencing outside, I know I've shared this before, but this is all about, reinforcing, right? The world you're experiencing outside is a direct reflection of the energy you hold inside.
Yes.
And that's why wearing whispers is so important, right? Because you want to let go of all that negative stuff that you've been holding on to, right?
Let me tell you what, I have worn 2 this week, and I usually wear 1.
Yes.
But you said, if one's good, 2's better, right?
Hey, that's right.
That's always my thinking. Well, if one's good, 2's better.
Yes, yes. That's the way I felt about drinks, right? Back in the day.
And I've noticed a difference in my thinking, and I just really wanted to say that out loud. And one was good, but I got a postcard from ARP today. That's not kind, but
From who?
AARP.
Oh.
I got a little postcard, and hormonally I was off, so I feel like I've really kind of settled in a little bit this week, especially, it helps that hubby's been gone.
Is he?
Did I just say that on Facebook Live?
You said it out loud, yes.
No, but I've got the candles going and that, mojo of clean house and clean it my inside house, and then I'm wearing my whispers, and I just feel like, okay,
A little more
but
solid, right?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's really nice testimonial, Nicole, and I'm glad to hear that because it's the way it works, right?
Mhm.
It's been amazing to me through all of these years. It's almost 40 years now, right?
Whoa.
That yes, that I've been doing this work and that I am the most consistent in wearing the whispers than any of my customers. I
Right.
don't know why that is, right? And again, I think it's because I'm a feel good junkie. And I've done it often enough where I've gone with maybe wearing one, or maybe for a few days I actually forgot to put them on, or whatever, because I'm human, right? And I do
You
stupid things.
are?
But almost immediately, usually within a day or two, I'll notice that I'm not armed.
You're not.
I don't have my shield on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as soon as I put 3 on or more, some days I wear 4, right? And when I put them on, I notice a difference in me, and I notice a difference in the people around me, right?
Well, that's because your perception's different.
Well,
People
that
around you
too,
don't
but
change.
also remember that the whispers radiate out 50 feet,
Oh,
right?
that's true.
So it's affecting the people around you as well, which is why sometimes I'll walk up and tell you things that you didn't ever ask to be told, right? And you're like, well, and I know why, but they'll say, I've actually had people say, they'll blurt out something, they'll say, and I don't know why I'm telling you this. And I say, it's okay, I know why. It's all right, right? But that's the whole idea, is that I get to help let go of that energy for them, right?
Yes.
My wearing the whispers, my creating a safe environment in my thinking and in my emotions, and it makes for a better world for everybody, right? And let me get Kimberly's no out, because we're not a no group here.
No, I think I touched it. Sorry.
Oh, there it is. There we go. Yeah. So yes, so that's why wearing, and I'm glad that you mentioned wearing an extra one, that you noticed the difference, right?
Yeah.
And perhaps we'll get you to actually wear 3 at some point, and that gets you to really experience what that's like. And if you need one, you know who to call to get one, right?
I don't know. Can you put that number up?
So if those of you watching our show tonight aren't wearing your whispers, what the hell?
Look at, I've got red.
Yay.
And
purple.
purple.
Yay. Which color do you like best? Do you have a favorite?
I don't. I like them both.
Okay. All right. So, and then we have black ones, and I'm amazed how many people love the black one, because black isn't a color that I usually picture with our work. But hey, if that's what people love, that's fine with me, right? So we're going to end our show tonight in just a minute here. I want to thank you all for being on our call tonight. And there's another comment from Melinda we didn't get to post yet. I was very thankful for the medication that helped me get thinking straighter. And somebody said, I don't, this might be, maybe this was Lisa. I don't know. I was going to say, huh?
Maybe in regards to the black one.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
It's a little delayed.
Well, yeah, whoever said it, give us a little.
Oh, Irene.
Irene. Oh, hi, Irene. So it was a wonderful call tonight, a wonderful show. I'm glad we talked about mental health and realizing that, sometimes our minds need some help, right? And that's what the purpose of this call is maybe this is your little medication right here for tonight, that reminds you that you have everything you need within you to make your life be what you want it to be. It's that God energy inside you, right? And we're here to help in any way we can. So I put out my phone number earlier. Let me give that again for anybody that needs it. There's my phone number. You're always welcome to give me a call. Here's my email address. You can email me. I will respond immediately, right? And until next week, I want to remind everybody, what should you do, Nicole, if they see somebody without a smile?
Oh, I love you too. Give them one of yours.
And why?
They're free.
They're free and they
And they make
really
you
help.
feel good.
Yes. So for everybody on our call tonight, everybody watching these recordings, thank you so much for participating. Your support is so important and so appreciated. And I think we might have one more comment here yet. Let me see. Love you all. What do we got here? Yep. Love you all from Kimberlyn. Thank you, Kimmy. And love to all of you. I'm glad you were here and hope to see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Good night, all. Bye.